I can't believe it. Honestly, it was incredible. It was an incredible performance by the Lions. I mean, you take down Lamar Jackson. He was sacked 7 times. I believe tied for the most he's ever been sacked. Tied for the most he's ever been sacked. And think about Lamar Jackson for a second, how hard it is to get him down. Number one, how hard it is to game plan for him. And Calvin Shepard, the new Lions DC, talked about how he barely got sleep this week game planning for him. And you sacked him 7 times. Linebackers got involved. AQM had 2 sacks. Aiden had a sack, a forced fumble. Defensive line was great. It was great. And honestly, this is the game to be great in, and they were excellent. The front 7 was the reason you won today. No question on defense. Dan Campbell should be giving a game ball to that entire front 7. They were incredible today. Jared Goff was incredible, accurate. Everything was on time. The offensive line, another great performance by them. Jared Goff was sacked 0 times today. And it helped that they didn't have Matabuke, their star defensive tackle. But I don't care. You got to block who's out there. And this offensive line put together another clean performance. Jared Goff, the last 2 games, 0 sacks taken by this O-line. With 2 guys starting on the interior that have a handful of games played in their career, Christian Mahogany and Tate Ratledge. No Aleem McNeil, Raul. You are right. No Aleem McNeil. Tyleek Williams. You had 2 rookies starting on the offense and defensive lines, and they put together that performance. Massive win. Over, honestly, a guy who's going to be an MVP candidate again. And the Ravens are one of the best teams in their conference. On the road, I mean, that crowd was incredible. And honestly, I got to say more credit and I can't say it enough. John Morton and Calvin Shepard were the 2 best coordinators on the field. Like, they coached circles around who they were facing. I mean, it was incredible. The defense got after Lamar. They did what they were supposed to do. And then the offense, the trick play to score, Johnny Moe whipped out. They went for it on 4th down. They converted 2 massive 4th down attempts. One was the latest one to seal the game, essentially, was a dot by Jared Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't know how. I mean, honestly, this is just the Lions. If you didn't believe it before, they are legitimate Super Bowl contenders. There is no question about it. No question. And the thing about the Lions that make them so dangerous, especially you saw it on offense, is they can beat you in so many different ways. Jahmyr Gibbs is their star running back. Dave Montgomery, don't sleep on him either. But today, Dave Montgomery goes over 100 yards today. I mean, like, you're like, oh yeah, this guy can beat us too. Jahmyr Gibbs, relatively quiet, but still had a pretty good game. But Demo was the star. The offensive line, I talked about it, elite today. Jared Goff, I don't even know how many incompletions he had. Barely any.
Yeah.
He was accurate. I mean, even some of your star players like Amon-Ra, J-Mo, they didn't have massive days, but you didn't need them to, man. They dominated. They were the more physical team, and they have, I said it, a rookie on both sides of the ball, on the offensive and defensive lines. Have a rookie on each side, and they were the more physical and more dominant team in the trenches.
Yeah, I mean, that doing that on the road with a young offensive line, like we saw it in week 1 against the Packers, they struggled, especially the interior of the offensive line with Mahogany and Ratledge, 2 young players. They struggled with communication on the road in Green Bay. This is Monday Night Football in Baltimore. That is not an easy place to play, and the communication, the execution, everything was great from that interior of that offensive line. So that was great to see. They were able to dominate the time of possession, and like you said, Montgomery and Gibbs both had great games, and that's all because of the offensive line. But, Jeff, you alluded to it. The reason the Detroit Lions won this game was because of the front 7. Putting pressure on Lamar Jackson all game, got to him 7 times, which I believe, I don't know if you already said it. I think
that's the most in his career.
I mean, what an unbelievable job by the Lions defensive line and Calvin Shepard, everybody on that defense. Just what a phenomenal job. The 30 points doesn't tell the story at all. It doesn't tell the story of how this Lions defense played. What an unbelievable job. What a huge win on the road for the Lions. And they are right back in the Super Bowl conversations. This is a huge, huge win. As a 5.5-point underdog on the road, Monday Night Football, huge win.
They did a great job on Derrick Henry, too. I mean, they forced a fumble on him. Aiden Hudson did that. They did a really good job against him. at least holding him, containing him. So excellent job of them. He's I think he's one of the best running backs of all time, probably a top 10 running back. He's a Hall of Famer. They did an excellent job there. Noah Lee McNeil still did a really good job. It's time to tell you about our friends over at Sleeper, because you guys are football fans, and if you think you know football, then try to turn your football knowledge into real money with the Sleeper app, the ultimate fantasy sports app that can turn game day into payday. Just download the Sleeper app and pick more or less on your favorite players. If you're a Lions fan, Jameson Williams, Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, with more stats than any other daily fantasy app. Just choose 2 or more of your favorite players from pregame or live. Pick more or less from the predicted stats, and you can win up to 100 times your money if your picks win. Use the promo code CT Sports, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply, as always, and stay tuned because I will be giving out my picks weekly for all Detroit Lions fans. Remember to gamble responsibly.
Jeff.
Let's talk about this. Super Bowl odds increased, obviously. People are going to look at this game as a statement. They look at the Lions probably nationally now as like Super Bowl contenders legitimately. But guess what happened over the weekend? Packers lost to the Browns. They're 2-1. Lions win. They're 2-1. You're back in the mix for the NFC North.
Absolutely,
it's tough because you have you got to get the win later in the season in Ford Field, but they're back in the mix now.
I'm curious.
It could come down to something like that, but
I'm curious to see where those odds shift.
Yeah,
for the NFC North, because there was a point where the Packers were the odds-on favorite to win the NFC North. I believe at like minus 140, and after this performance by the Lions. I mean, I don't know how I know the Packers beat up on them week 1, but the way they're looking, the way they looked last week against Chicago, a divisional opponent, I think we might see an odd shift where the Lions might be the favorite to win this division. I mean, you just the way you just played against Lamar Jackson in primetime should show a lot of people that I mean, losing both your coordinators, losing all these things doesn't matter. I mean, obviously
especially
it matters a little bit, but I mean, they just what a great job. What a great job. But the biggest play of the game, Jeff, was the forced fumble by Hutch.
It was massive.
I mean, what a play by a big time player in a drive where they could have bled all that clock out with Derrick Henry, and Hutch punches that ball out, I believe, on the second play of the drive. What a play by Hutch. What a play.
And you think about all the missed opportunities too. You had a drop pick by Brian Branch. Like what? And you know what happened on that drop pick? Ravens scored. So think about, you won by 8 points, and you still had other opportunities where you missed on, like that Brian Branch could have changed an entire game. You could have scored a touchdown, prevented the Ravens from scoring. I mean, this game could have been a lot different too. You could have won by another touchdown. It's just it's a statement win. It's a massive win. You put up 40 in Baltimore. You put up 40 in Baltimore. And this is after last week. And here's the thing we have to address, right? And I made this statement last week when people were like, well, Jeff, it's the Bears, dude. It's the Bears. What are you going to say now? They put up 52 against the Bears, and people say it's the Bears. Well, and that was at home. I was at home against the Bears. You put up 40 against the Ravens on the road. What do you say now? You can't say a damn thing. You can't. And they didn't even beat them the way that I thought they would beat them, which is through the air, throwing 1,000. They beat them on the ground.
They ran for 200 yards.
And the Ravens are known to be a very good run defensive team. You think, oh, well, they get exposed to the air. No, the Lions said, we're going to run it down your throat, and there's nothing you can do about it. And they did that. And there was plays where it was 1 yard, 2 yards, minus 1 yard. And then, boom, now they're getting 8 yards. They wore them down over 4 quarters.
Yeah, Johnny Moe just showed the rest of the NFL that this offense is not one-dimensional. I mean, Jared Goff threw for 200 yards, and we put up 40.
Christopher French, appreciate the $5. My friend, by the way, Super Chats, we'll be reading them on stream. Christopher says that was the linebacker's best game against a running quarterback I've ever seen. Barnes was fire emoji, fire emoji.
Yes.
Barnes, but from a linebacker standpoint, front seven, you mentioned it. Yeah, they were great. They were great against Derrick Henry. They were great against Lamar. You needed that type of performance to beat a quarterback and running back duo like that. You needed it. And Klotz said it on the show. I mean, you could argue, well, Eagles or Ravens, tougher game. But tougher matchup is Lamar and Derrick Henry. That is the toughest matchup you have on the schedule. And they just did an excellent job sacking him 7 times, one of the hardest quarterbacks to sack. And then you stopped Derrick Henry, or at least contained him. Like, I don't know, man. I mean,
Calvin Shepard.
Calvin Shepard.
What a job.
Yeah. I mean, Calvin Shepard, dude, that dude needs to get a game ball, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do game balls for coordinators. If I'm Dan, one for you, one for Johnny Mo. You both get one.
And back to the linebackers, too. Like, it's
Wow.
a two-step process to getting to Lamar Jackson. First, you got to get the pressure from the interior. Then you know he's going to run around, and the linebackers have to clean it all up.
Yeah.
And they did. And the play that honestly probably one of my favorite plays all day, I believe it was on a third down. I don't really remember, was the Trevor Nowaski sack.
Nowaski, yeah. That's another linebacker that got sacked.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson could have had a clear lane to the end zone. Trevor Nowaski stayed home and got to him. What a huge play. But, I mean.
Who do you think gets game balls? Let's say like 3 game balls.
I think you give Monty a game ball.
I would say Monty.
I think you give Kelvin Shepard a game ball. But Johnny Mo also deserves a game ball. I mean, dude, you want to talk about that 4th down play? They ran an option with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs at the 4-yard line. I mean, that was huge.
I mean, Chad, who gets a game ball? You get 3 game balls. Talk to me here. Who gets a game ball? You get 3 of them. Give me your 3. You'd give a game ball to. I'll go Hutch, Monty. I'm sorry.
I think Kelvin Shepard
I got to give
one.
Kelvin Shepard one.
Yeah,
I
think Kelvin
Johnny
Shepard
Mo.
gets one.
Yeah.
I think he gets one.
I'm sorry, Johnny Mo. I'm giving one to Kelvin Shepard. 3 game balls. I'm giving one. AQM. Sorry. No. AQM.
Hutch has to get one.
Hutch and Monty. I'm giving it to defensive linemen.
I mean, you have to give it to a running back. David Montgomery gets a game ball tonight.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got to give those boys a game ball, man.
I'll tell you what. I can't believe this Detroit Lions team went into Baltimore today. This Baltimore team and just won the game. And the fact that going into this year, guys, this Lions team, the question was the schedule. And Jeff, I heard you say it when I was standing over there, like this was probably the toughest
matchup easily.
Yeah, out of anyone because of Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. Offensively, they're stacked from top to bottom. And the fact that they were able to go in there and you know what? I give credit as well to Dan Campbell because they had one hell of a game plan ready to go. And I know they gave up 30 points, but that defense in the biggest moments just kept stepping up. Like Hutch having that essentially the punch out with Derrick Henry, and then the very next possession, Hutch turning around with the sack down the stretch. AQM 2.5 sacks tonight. AQM has 3.5 sacks on the season already, boys. Like, he's incredible. He's been good. And you know what? Full credit because we've always been the ones that kind of pushed back at this edge room and this whole situation with the edge room. AQM, he's good. I can roll with him. I really can. And if you get Davenport back and healthy, I think you're off to the races, in my opinion, on this edge room. And I know a lot of people are like, you're the one that's been pushing it. You perform, then you know you could change how you feel about it. And AQM performed tonight in a big. It's not like this was like the versus the Carolina Panthers or the Miami Dolphins. This is versus literally the Baltimore Ravens, a top 5 who we've had in our power rankings, Jeff, a top 5 team in the NFL.
Easily.
So you have to respect them a little bit, especially with what they have. So yeah, all respect for this Ravens team. But look at this Lions. Like, we're back. Everyone thought the Lions were. This is why I think this win is so big. Because so many people thought this Lions team was dead. The organization was dead. How many people picked this Lions team to not make the playoffs this year? And all of a sudden, the Packers lose to the Browns and the Lions beat the Ravens on the road. And now all of a sudden, I bet you if you looked at the sports book, what did I say pregame? I said, get your bets in before the game started because if they win this game, it's over for those bets. You're never going to see those again.
Yeah, and honestly, there's no doubt in my mind they went into this game mentioning – they've heard the media say the game a couple years ago where the Ravens whooped their ass. I mean, they've heard it all week. They understand people are already doubting them with new coordinators, young offensive line. Like they hear all the noise. Like, and I know they have a lot of guys on this team that are a little petty, which it's good though. It's good that they are. Like Amon-Ra remembers every receiver drafted in front of them. They definitely hear all the noise, and they heard it all this week about this game. They went into this game looking to make a statement. There's no way. Like the Ravens were not expecting that. I think they were. I think they were just completely caught off guard. Not that they didn't respect the Lions, but I think they just didn't expect them to play. They played exceptional. I mean, both sides of the ball.
The biggest takeaway from tonight's game is there's just this Lions team. It's not like people thought this year that there was going to be a step back because of the coordinators.
They rose to the occasion today.
It felt like tonight the Lions. This is the best Lions team we've seen in 2 years. Tonight's game. And I know they gave up 30 points, but like the
I
defense,
would say it's probably their best regular season performance.
In
I mean,
2
I'm trying to
years.
think of like
and
any
they
other
won
game.
15 games last year, went to NFC Championship the game before. In my opinion, this was the best game I've seen out of this Lions team because in the past, it was this offense puts 40 points up and you
Yeah, it
win.
was like Bills.
They
like Bills
put it
game.
up, and I know, again, they gave up 30, but this defense, you have never seen this defense look like that before. And especially versus a mobile quarterback in Lamar Jackson. They completely have felt like, and yes, the stats might not show it. If you watch the game, though, in big moments, they shut down Lamar. They shut down Derrick Henry, forced to fumble. Like, they stepped up, this defense did, in big moments, and that's something you just have not seen with this Lions team in the past. You can make an argument right now, this Lions team, this is a top 3 team in football. You could argue this is the best team in the NFC right now.
Win.
And I know they just lost to the Packers 2 weeks ago. That was such a one-off week. If you played the Packers tonight, you beat the Packers by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, it literally,
So-
the NFC should go Eagles, Lions, right there.
Yeah.
There's not even, like, they're right there.
And I know people will hear that and be like, better than the Packers. This team today versus the Ravens, like they went on the road and dominated them.
Beat
It
the
felt
Ravens.
like.
This is a massive win. And then, but you see the Packers lose to the Browns. I mean, like, in the Browns' respect, but that was bad. What they score? 10 points? What was
Yeah,
that?
10 points, lost 13-10. I mean, they did not play well. Jordan Love did not play well. But a sequence I want to talk about here in this game is when we stuff the Ravens at the goal line.
4 straight times.
We have the ball with 1:20 left. Have an opportunity to put points up and kind of just go to the half. We punt the ball back. Ravens score. They're up. They tie the game there. Then the Ravens score out of half too, 21-14. Do you know how many teams would just kind of like with all the momentum on the other team's side just kind of fall on their face?
Right.
That's a Dan Campbell coach team. We dominated from that point on. From that point on, going down 21-14 out of the half, after having an opportunity to put points up at the end of the half, after making a big goal line stop, we dominated after that point. I mean, that personifies what a Dan Campbell-led team is. I mean, just the timely plays, everything.
And
I mean, they're showing AQM right now. Look, all these sacks, dude. 2.5 sacks by AQM.
Well, the pass. Remember what Calvin says. You got to earn the right to rush the passer. They, from a run defense perspective, they just held the best rushing team to under 100 rushing yards. 85 rushing yards for the Ravens.
Yeah.
This is the best rushing team in the league. Last year, they were number 1. And they just held them to 85 rushing yards with no Aleem McNeil.
Yeah, I mean, what did Lamar have?
30-something, maybe?
30?
Yeah, and then Derrick had
He
like
had 35.
50.
Derrick Henry had 50. I mean, they ran
85
for
rushing
4
yards.
The problem is, like, they did run for 4.5 yards per carry, but you put them in a position to where, like, a lot of those just weren't, they weren't working. That's a Derrick Henry 28-yard run for a touchdown. And that's about it. That's all you got out of that.
And this one, look at John Hughes. We brought this up before the show. Lions just handed Lamar his 3rd loss to the NFC.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big, and it's on the road again. It's
That's
on the
actually
road.
crazy. Yeah, he never loses NFC opponents.
This team is legit, man. I'll tell you what.
Hey, what's going on there? It's Jeff Iafrate. Appreciate you for finishing the video. You can check out one of the videos here suggested or show support by commenting, liking, and subscribing. And buy your merchandise, officialctsports.com.